amazing, really, how you find the strength to go and visit the boy who actually took the life of your son.
I've decided to be someone that demonstrates love in all things. And when you make a decision, sometimes you get tested on what you say, Harry. And I didn't know that my son would die, thinking, well, what do? I want to kill this guy. Now I'm carrying this baggage because someone's killed my son. I gotta let it go because it was only hurting me. He's in prison. It's not affecting him that I'm mad as hell and want him dead.
Mark, welcome to the show, mate.
Oi, welcome, lads. Harry.
How are you today?
Good to meet you. I'm awesome, man.
For the people who don't know, Mark, why did you meet yourself and Harry?
Because the Spirit of London Awards is about Damilola Taylor. And Gary Trousdale had done a great job in putting this event together and bringing a lot of celebrities together and just really highlighting the demise and the impact knife crime was having on our country. And he done a great event, raising money, just some great people attending. And that's how I got to meet Harry down there, because obviously I was there, I was able to speak and go up on the stage as well. And it was a successful event. And for me, one of the most successful parts of the event was actually building a relationship with Harry. So when we met, I shared with Harry a little bit about my son, terrific young lad. Love calling him King Kiyan, because in so many ways he was just such a king in his character and the way he was and leadership. But I just shared with Harry, why I was at the event and what we were trying to achieve with the Kiyan Prince Foundation. And even from the off, Harry was like, like anything I can do to support you and help, I'm really happy to do that. So I value relationships when I meet people and they speak the word, they talk the talk, and they walk the walk. And Harry's one of them guys for me.
For the listeners out there who don't know, can you tell us about the Kiyan Prince Foundation and why you set it up?
The Kiyan Prince Foundation was very, very important to be set up because a beautiful one of my crew, one of my little team that I built up, that God given me, Kiyan, was killed outside his school gates. Now, every parent knows that is an absolute nightmare. You don't send your children to school and expect a phone call that they've been stabbed. So to get that phone call obviously changed the whole cycle of my life and what direction it was going in, because it's very, very hard to explain what it's like to hear not just the words of your son being stabbed, but when you get to the hospital, you got to hear someone telling you that he's tried to keep your son alive. And he's opened his heart, he's massaged his heart, and he's just tried to manually just get it going again. And you don't get much intimate than that to save a life. So I'm forever thankful to the doctor for his efforts. But it wasn't meant to be. But how do you handle that? How does anyone handle that as a parent, man? Come on now. And there's nothing that prepares you for that. Just think about how much you do for your kids. Just think about you'd rather, die than let your kids suffer. And, and I was like any other parent out there. And to see your son not breathing, to see him just laying there looking like he's sleeping, looking like he'd wake up, but he ain't gonna wake up. That's the kind of pain that you know nothing about. I remember having this conversation with my soul saying, I didn't know there was a pain that you couldn't feel physically because no one's actually hit you and hurt you, but it's emotional and it's so deep that it actually brings pain out physically. So my heart was physically in pain. I would hold my heart, it was hurting. I started getting heart problems, heart murmurs was coming in even worse, panic attacks. Yeah, it wasn't good. I had to go hospital. Your body's just not built for that, to take that kind of news, bro. Seriously. And I wasn't built for that. So to be able to go through that process, I was in this space every day of pain and didn't quite know how I was going to get through this from day to day. How do you know, there's stuff that you want to look forward to in life. I didn't have nothing to look forward to anymore. Trying to achieve and trying to make money and trying to do stuff in life. It didn't mean nothing anymore. It was just empty. It was empty.
Yeah. I mean, Kian was a young footballer, wasn't he, Mark? At QPR.
Beautiful.
And everybody you spoke to at QPR, not just, I remember talking to the coaches and people that were there, and they spoke so highly of him. They said not only was he a fantastic young man, strong, but just lovely personality, good, real great prospect as a footballer and a great person. So, and obviously, he would have had a massive future in football starting out at QPR. So
it was brilliant, Harry. The news that I used to get back from Queen's Park Rangers when they called us in, have a chat to us about Kian. I remember then they said, listen, your son's really a great baller. We want to develop him. We don't think he can continue to develop at the rate that he should be if he's playing in his own age group. So we're going to put him up with the first team, the older boys, the bigger guys, so he can develop more, greater understanding, because he's big, he's strong, he's fast. We were like elated. I remember coming out of there right outside the stadium and hugging him up next to where it says the box office, and I'd hug him, I'd give him a kiss. I said, well done, man. Do you know what I mean? I was just so proud of him. Kind of used to talk about stuff. I want to get you this, that. I said, mate, don't get me nothing. The only thing you can get me is if I see you happy. That's what I wanted, because I'd learned a lesson in life. Because by now, my knee had been injured and my career was over at 19 wins, 15 knockouts and 1 loss. And that only loss was to a world champion. Yeah, it was one of the pound for pound, one of the best. And I realized that, do you know what? Life is really about fulfilling what you love doing and enjoying it. It's not about stuff. It's not about things. So when he said that to me, I just said, listen, mate, just enjoy what you've got. You're going to be 16 soon. QPR's loving you. You're signed. You've got a great future with him. Enjoy it, son.
As strong as he was and a physically fit, powerful boy, he wasn't. He wasn't an aggressive person, was he, Mark? In any shape or form. And what happened to him, he was a complete and utter innocent party, which is, as we was talking earlier off air, it's a scary part when you're a father, isn't it? Your kids suddenly they can be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that's what happened here. Mark, you actually wanted to go and meet this boy, which is, people would find really amazing, really, how you find the strength to go and visit the boy who actually took the life of your son. I mean, where did you find that from?
And let's be honest, Harry, they'll be upset too. There'll be some people that'll be astounded and like, wow, in a good way. And there's other people that'll be like, wow, nah, you shouldn't be doing that. This guy's done this, and why are you going to talk to him? And they don't understand. And that's, even in my own family, it's difficult. But I get that. I totally get that. But because of the road that I walk, because of the decisions that I've made, like I've decided to be someone that demonstrates love in all things. And when you make a decision, sometimes you get tested on what you say, Harry. And I didn't know that my son would die, and I'd have to be tested on the very things that I taught my son to stand for. And now I'm tested and thinking, well, what do? I want to kill this guy, but how do I deal with this? And throughout the journey, what I decided to do was I have to live what I speak about. I have to live what I taught my son. I taught my son about forgiveness and moving on and not carrying the baggage and issues of whatever happens in your life or what people do to you. Now I'm carrying this baggage because someone's killed my son. I got to let it go because it was only hurting me. He's in prison. It's not affecting him that I'm mad as hell and want him dead. He's doing his time. I got to deal with these pains and issues that I'm carrying, and it was affecting me. And it was stopping me. If I wanted to go out there and help other young people, that was going to hinder my work, because I was going to meet young guys who'd murdered. I was going to meet young guys who'd stabbed people. And I needed to be in a space where I had no weight that was breaking me down, so my emotions would come to the surface while you're sharing with me how you've hurt people, which I've had. I had to hug young guys crying on me, saying, oh, Prince, I ain't gonna do this no more. You know, the olders, the guys that groom them, the olders are making me do this and that. I want out of this life. Now, if I'd held on to Hanad and that anger and that distress that he caused me of revenge, then I couldn't show and be compassionate to another man who I know has hurt other people's families. So I had to learn to let that go. And when I got to that point, I wanted to meet with Hanad and be able to get him to be accountable for his actions. And while he's sitting down inside, he's not accountable as far as I'm concerned. He's just doing his time. How about you meet me, bruv? How about you meet Daddy Prince, okay? You meet the senior of the other person you killed, because you killed me. That's a part of me, bro. So you killed that side of me, now you get to meet me. Let's sit down. Let's talk about what's going on in your mind, in your heart. And maybe that can help somebody else watching who's able to see that this is possible and that you can let go of all of this pain that you're carrying that will have an impact on your future.
Yeah, but I think that was a great point, Mark, when you say they've got to come out on the streets one day.
Yeah.
And when they come out, if he's still in there, no one's getting into he's going to walk out and be just as dangerous as he was when he went in there.
Thank you, bro.
And some poor person is going to meet him one day, and the first person who upsets him is going to be in serious trouble again.
Mark, you've got one powerful mindset, what you've gone through, and I think it's unbelievable. And how did you feel when the stadium, QPR Stadium's not named after your son?
Brilliant. Never been done before. I think it really it should stand as an inspiration to every young child out there, regardless of his background, his culture, or anything. What your character can do to impact on other people's lives, because Kiyan's character still speaks from the grave. It's still through me and what I'm sharing with others. It still speaks to young people from the grave about, you guys want people to fear you. You guys want respect. So you're going out trying to hurt others and threaten others and get into fights and stab and hurt. But Kiyan created this legacy from his kindness, from his loving attitude, from helping others and supporting others. How powerful is that? So we have to spread Kiyan's message. That's why the Kiyan Prince Foundation had to come about, because I basically just wanted to be a dad like what I'd been to Kiyan. If he could turn out like that through what me and his mum had put into his upbringing, then if I create a charity, I could do more of the same thing to other young people. So that's what I went about. That was the basic raw idea of the KPF, was like, let's impact more young people. Let's give them the blueprint to success, because Kiyan had it. He knew that working hard was going to get him what he wanted. So he stayed on the grind. He stayed practicing. He stayed dribbling. He stayed running fast. He stayed in the gym, building up his body. He focused on that. So having a stadium named after him was such an honor for us, because it honored what Kiyan stands for, you know, his personality and his character. So that's why I think QPR stands out as the flagship when it comes to stepping out and doing things that don't tick the box of the usual organizations. Because this is a young black boy, you know. How many young black boys can say, we've seen this model, we want to be like this, because our names are in businesses and our names are in ownership of things, or our names are above buildings. It's not. So that's a great inspiration for young black boys as well, as they come up and see, well, that's one of ours. You know, he looks like us, so we could become that too. We could achieve that also.
Mark, yeah, I tell everybody, you're just an amazing fella. So thank you.
Right.
Love to everybody.
As always, I love you, mate.
God bless Marky.